Thank you again for taking the time to talk to us this afternoon. We are highly grateful for this opportunity. So let's jump in. So the first question is, podcasting hasn't always been a defined career path. What was your path and how did you end up in this aspect of digital media?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me. It's really great to be here. I never saw it as a career path until I started mine. I always had dreams of having a podcast. I listened to this podcast by Tim Ferriss, his first 6 episodes, and everybody who knows Tim Ferriss knows the size that it is right now. I was there from day one when he started it. And I saw the evolution of that. I gravitated from that one to other podcasts. And so I saw that there's a huge potential for the medium. And it was long started from before I showed up on the scene. But when I showed up on the scene, I saw there's huge potential for it. And there wasn't a lot of it in Jamaica. So I
Mhm.
wanted to start one focused on Jamaica, focused on entrepreneurship. And I did that, and it never really became a career for me, a business for me, until I went off on my own, left my full-time job, and was looking for something to do. And I had the skill already, so it just was a natural fit.
Oh, awesome. So, my question then to you is, what what was your previous capacity in your full-time job, and how long ago did you get started professionally in podcasting?
Yeah, so at the time when I started the podcast, I was running sales and marketing for a software development company in Jamaica. It's a company called Real Decoy. So I was working at the company for about 8 years. About a year and a half before I started in the podcast, I kind of created this dream job for myself, where I said, you know what, let me try my hand at entrepreneurship, that's entrepreneurship within a company, and try to bring leads in, local leads in, because we're only going after international clients, people in America and Canada, all parts of the world. But so let me try my hand at Jamaica, because I believe there's potential here. There are companies here who would see the benefit, of the value in what we offer. So I was doing that for a while. And it didn't work out. So around November, I was laid off, quote unquote, laid off. And I just, I was in a position where I had no idea what I was going to do next.
Mhm.
I, I couple people who I built relationships with, doing the sales and marketing for the company, reached out to me and said, hey, if you want to come and work here, the opportunities here, we can discuss it. But nothing ever felt right. But
Mhm.
kudos to all the people who had my back and showed me some support at that time. But nothing really felt right. And I felt like if there's ever a chance that's going to start something, now would be the time. Because I'm spending all this time interviewing entrepreneurs,
Mhm.
dreaming that one day I could be one. Why not let this time be the opportunity to try my hand at it? So that was November, and it didn't happen until May that
Mhm.
I officially became an entrepreneur, meaning someone gave me $1 for something that I conjured up in my mind. And that dollar turned into this business that I'm running right now.
Oh, oh, awesome. So, what really keeps the passion going then?
Well, I have a daughter now. So before it was,
Congratulations.
thank you. So before it was the challenge of, can I make $1 online? And
Mhm.
then I said, okay, if I can make $1 online, I can make any amount of money. And it was a matter of how much bigger can I grow it? Can I keep growing? Can I keep learning? Can I keep thinking? And so I kept evolving the business and pivoting into offering bigger and bigger value. Um, and it just became this thing where, okay, I was growing it to be big for it being big sake, but I kind of had lost connection with why I was doing it in the first place, why podcasting, and why business, why entrepreneurship, why any of these things. So I kind of took a step back, and my daughter was born in June 2019, and just spending time with her, I found something that was hidden underneath everything, which is I have the opportunity to work at home. Me and my wife were business partners, and we don't miss a thing. When I was working at a company, I'd take 3 hours a day just commuting to work. I'd go to work I'd wake up early in the morning because we live in Spanish Town, go to this place, clock in, clock out, and don't get back home until the nighttime. There's no way that I could do what I'm doing right now, which is wake up every morning with my daughter, feed her, play with her for all the day, never miss a moment. I wouldn't trade up for anything. And then I started to look at other people who are in a similar space and the privilege that we get from that. And what is it that we're really creating? What is it that we're really putting out into the world? So really, it's gone all over the place. But so I saw that there are hardworking people out there who are just as I am, they're trying to create something for themselves, create something for their family, create something that has meaning to them. But their message is being overshadowed by people who are just who I was, all about the money. They just want to get as much money as possible. And so when I changed my focus from all this money to all this impact and meaning that I have in my life, that's what's now keeping me going to go to the next phase. How can I get the people who are like me, who are in this position where, well, I want my meaning and my message to reach more people. How do I get that? How do I help them get that with their podcasts?
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you.
So my next question for you then is, what's your best advice to anyone who wants to launch their own business?
Well, it's not for the weak. It's a very difficult path to be on. But if you're like me and you decided that there's nothing else will do for you, you didn't fit in a 9 to 5, and no matter what happens, you cannot see yourself going back to that life, then, and this is for you, then be prepared, because it's going to be very difficult. And I would say, don't reduce your scope. From day one, I decided that I wanted to build an international business. I wanted wherever in the world I was, I could attract clients and help and deliver for them, which means that I had to set up my business in such a way that was possible. So it was very clear. It was very clear for me, and a very clear goal for me, that I didn't want the business that was tied to Jamaica. And so that opened my mind to possibilities, opened my mind to channels and relationships to build and avenues. But you won't be thinking like that if you're thinking, I'm going to have a local, I'm going to have a locally restricted business. So from the get-go, just unlock that. You think about going global from day one.
The world is your oyster. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. All right.
And who doesn't like to earn US dollars while living in Jamaica? So yeah.
Right. All right. So, as more entrepreneurs are building their personal brands and they're showing up as thought leaders, what can they really do to stay top of mind, like be that go-to person?
Yeah.
What can
I'm sorry.
Right. So what can they do to stay top of mind?
I'd say that there are two things to be doing. So there's a continuous brand building. So you're on social media, whether you're on LinkedIn, your Instagram, Facebook, wherever. Pick one or pick all wherever your clients are, and show up there on a regular basis. You might think that I'm just posting out there, no one's gonna see no one's gonna see, it's not gonna happen. But the more you post, the more your brand will grow. So there's very little control you have over the discovery of it. But once you're focused on the creation and you're putting it out there on an ongoing basis, it will do its job. You won't have no way about it happen. The other thing, exactly, or as often as you can, and still be sane, right?
Yes.
The other side of it is build relationships with people behind the scenes. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've gotten just from doing that. That I did having no agenda, just being willing to provide my advice, provide my time, help people, talk to people, that has opened so many doors for me. Even, even when there's no boundaries, I could be talking to somebody in Australia, and I can get opportunities that are in America or in UK. I've had so many stories of that. So just be willing to build relationships. There are communities, groups online that talk about things that you may be interested in or may be related to your business. Go in those groups, and passionately help people and share your message, and you'll be surprised as how that human connection gets built and what that creates.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, what is your entrepreneurial philosophy?
My entrepreneur philosophy it's two things. And it's something that I've gone through all the struggles on, like I mentioned before, about trying to find meaning in everything. One of them is to be ethical. There are the most popular thing on internet right now are these people who are business coaches or internet marketers talking about, here's how we can help you get more clients or help you to do something. And they're loud, they're shiny, and they're tapping into that base like need for other entrepreneurs and other business owners, and they'll take advantage of you because they'll promise you some magic solution, but there's no magic solution. So if you just pull the curtain back and you see it's the wizard, right? And he's just tinkering stuff. There's nothing magical. So yeah, just be ethical. And it's very simple to be ethical. It might not be as glamorous as standing beside a Lamborghini or renting a private jet and standing in front of it acting like you own it. But being ethical will attract the right people to you. Just tell people honestly what your services are. There's no innuendo, there's no hidden trick behind it. And people who resonate with your story and who need what you're offering will become customers. It's as simple as that. So that's one thing, be ethical. And the other thing is to trust your instincts. I've gone through the journey with that as well, where because I grew up a certain way. I grew up, with how I was raised and with how I was working at a company. There's a certain path you have to go down, or there's a certain way you have to do things. And if you choose to do it your own way, it's not going to be celebrated because, boy, you're going off the path. Stick to the path and or do what I tell you to do, and everything is fine. Go off on your own path and you'll have problems. In entrepreneurship, it's flipped on its head entirely. Your success and your failures are your own. They're on your shoulders. And so you need to be able to trust yourself more. There are going to be mentors and coaches that come along, and they can offer you some shortcuts to your journey. But ultimately, it's your two shoulders. You're all the people that you hire and all the clients that you work with and attract. They're all going to be based on the decisions that you make. So learn to trust yourself more as an entrepreneur. So trust yourself, be ethical.
Awesome, Paul. All right, so the last question is, what impact do you want to make in the world of podcasting and in Jamaica specifically?
Well, I mean, I have an international business. I've only worked with one local client. I'm definitely thinking about changing that as I see the landscape shift. There are definitely a lot more podcasts now than when I started, and it's just been like 4 or 5 years. So I see the huge potential here. But my goal right now is as an entrepreneur or with this podcasting business is to find the people who have a strong message, who have a strong personality, and want to turn that message into a movement. So these are, like I said, people who are ethical, people who are trusting themselves, and people who have a lot of expertise to share. I
Mhm.
want to help them turn their message into a movement for them, can change their world and change the world of their clients.
Awesome. And that to you is the real impact.
That, yeah, that to me is a real thing, real impact. Yeah.
Wow, awesome. Wow, Paul, this was an amazing conversation. I enjoyed it. I felt the sincerity and the genuine authenticity of it all.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, it was amazing. It was one of the shortest interviews I've ever done, but so, very powerful, like very robust in all that you would have said and how you would have expressed it. And I mean, we exist in a virtual space and I was able to feel what you're saying, and it does make a difference when you can feel somebody.
Yeah, I
Um,
appreciate that.
you're most welcome.